Right. I need to be sure we are good to go. Okay, let me just start since we are already live. I'm trying to wait for others to join the room. If you're just joining us or if you have joined already, please kindly just in the chat room state the country or the state or the town you're joining from. My name is Dr. Mercy Lyons, the founder of Anike Lyons, and I'm excited to have you all here with me today. Um, you know, for the past 2 months now, since September, we'll be having this masterclass, and at September we had Venerable Jibrin Jibia who helped us with the mindset reset, our mindset reset by Control Alt Delete model, and it was an awesome experience. And then we topped it up again in October with our speaker, Mr. Olukayode Oke, who spoke to us about bouncing back, turning setbacks into comebacks. And it has been awesome since then. I've gotten several feedbacks from the two of the master classes, and it's amazing that we are wrapping up the year with this November masterclass. Yes, okay, thank you, Rebecca from Oyo State. If you are just joining us, please kindly state the state or the country or the place you're joining us from so that we can be sure you're with us. Thank you. I was just doing a brief recap of the master classes, the Lyons Reell Masterclass for the past 3 months. And today we are crowning the year with this masterclass, this November masterclass, because there is no better time to find out, or to hear things that will help you in the new year. At this time of the year, it may seem as if, oh, what did I achieve this year? But 2026 is coming. We still have a lot of days in 2025. And if you can get a grasp of bending without breaking, I'm sure that you will end this year strong and then you start next year, even stronger. And that is why I'm so excited to have with me today. Oh, I'm having people respond in the chat room. Permit me, dear speaker, let me just, I have Frederick from Oyo State joining us. I have Ibrahim from Ekiti State. I'm sure many other people will also be joining, and they will meet us along the way as we start. All right, so without further ado, because we are working with time here, I'd like to introduce our speaker, Rachel Onomusi. Is a dear sister and a friend, and you know, somehow, somewhere at the back of my head, I used to call her a support system. When you have Rachel, you have a support system. You can just go and rest. She's an amazing, amazing person, and I'm glad that she said yes to this, and I know that you will learn a lot from her this evening, and I'm excited also to learn from her. So permit me to yield the floor to Rachel. Good evening, Rachel. I'm glad to have you. Thank you. Despite your busy schedule, you said yes, and I'm grateful. Thank you so much for doing this.
Good evening, Mercy. Thank you so much for having me, and a very good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world watching. Thank you for being a part of this, and thank you for welcoming me. That was a fantastic welcome. Thank you. Glad to know that my money didn't waste. I bribed her to say all those lovely things. So it really is a pleasure to be here. I think it's fantastic that we're having this session now before the end of the year, because I am not a fan of New Year resolutions. I think breakfast comes whenever is your morning. It doesn't have to be January 1. It doesn't have to be when everybody else is shouting. When you catch a rev, when you hear something that you can apply to your life, you need to start using it immediately. So I'm really glad that we're having this session, and we will be having so many more sessions. It's been wonderful just being able to listen in to the other sessions that this program has had, and I look forward to learning from the other sessions that will come after this. So before we get into what I'd like to talk to us about today, I'd like to do a little bit of housekeeping. I don't like hearing just my voice. So please, please blow up the comment section, ask your questions, say hi, point out anything that's being said either by myself or by the host that resonates, or anything that you would like to learn, and we will have a Q&A afterwards. So from time to time, I'll be stopping just to see if you're following, if you are with me, or if you have any questions, and we will deal with those questions afterwards. So without further ado, I'd like to start today's topic, which is bending without breaking, turning small steps into big opportunities. Okay, the screen is live. You can see my screen. Before I introduce myself, I'll tell you a little bit about some of the things we are going to do today. First of all, there'll be a small introduction. Why is this even important? What do we mean by bending? What do we mean by resilience? Why do we need it? And how can we acquire it? Next, we'll talk about the power of starting small and why that's important. Then we're going to talk about flexibility, which is the core of what we are talking about. The ability to bend, the ability to adapt, the ability to pivot. Next, we'll talk about the little things that lead to big wins. And then we'll talk about the stepping stones that are not blocks, the refusals, the denials, the delays, the deferments that are actually stepping stones to where you finally want to go, and is not necessarily a block to your journey. And then we'll talk about the exercise, the activity, the doing power of bending and not breaking. And then we'll have my favorite section, which is the Q&A section. And I'm very much looking forward to that, because I'd really love to hear from the people in the room. So I thought I'd include this, but I didn't realize, because I wasn't sure, like I said, if the bribery would work. And so I'd just like to give you a little bit of background as to who I am. I'm Rachel Onomusi. I'm a digital strategist. I mentor businesses, individuals, and organizations, and I create creative entrepreneurs. And I work in digital technology, design, and development, as well as leadership and corporate communication. Basically, in a short word, I build stories, systems, and spaces that help people grow without losing their sense of self, their story, or their purpose. So that's just a little bit about me, and I'm not going to go too much more into who I am, but I'd really like to talk about what we are talking about today. And that is that the world is changing fast. Industries, roles, even the dreams you think you have look different every 3 to 5 years. So even if you think you've attained where you wanted to be, you're doing exactly what you thought you'd be doing at this stage in your life, there's always room to review. There's always room to think about, is it still what I want? I know I worked so hard to get this. Is it still what I want? Am I on the right track? Is there another track to get me to where I'm going? And if you're rigid about how success must happen and what it must look like, you are going to struggle. But if you can bend, if you can adapt, if you can look at the way the world is going, changes that are happening around you, and move seamlessly within the new world order, within the new reality, and make sure you stay in motion, you'll find out that that motion will create opportunities for you. So just to give you an idea, I'd like you to think of something you once thought was a small decision, and then it ended up changing your path significantly. Maybe a short course you took, someone's house you went to, and they were talking about this career that they're into, and you thought, oh, that sounds interesting. That sounds like something I'd love to do. Or maybe a side project that ended up becoming something that was overwhelming, or something that took over and became a job that you find that you actually loved, or something that you could actually do. And that's exactly how bending works. It's not really about big things and just changing from A to Z. It's about A to B, and then maybe B to C, and then maybe you can jump a couple steps and you can go C to F. That's what bending means, and that's what it's about, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this session. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is the power of starting small. There are some businesses, there are some things you want to do. Say, for example, you wanted to set up a multi-story building. Yes, you're going to need a lot of capital, a lot of resources, connections to make that happen. But most likely, whatever it is you want to do will have a small start, because you can't even build a multi-story building if you've never built a kiosk or a hut or a small one-bedroom apartment or bungalow. So the key idea here is that big things grow from small, consistent actions. And the key word is the consistency. So if you're anything like me, when I start a new diet and I decide I'd like to lose weight, and then I start the day with, oh, I'm just going to have a cup of coffee. And then I have a salad for lunch. And then I'll get on the scales at 9 p.m. and I'm the same size. And I'm like, this thing doesn't work, Joe. And I'll go back to eating whatever it was that I was eating and whatever I liked. That's something small, but it's inconsistent. And so many of us are guilty of this. So many of us are guilty of inconsistent starts. So by the time you want to try the thing again, you're going back to where you were. If you consider something like your social media, for example, you started it, you had a New Year resolution, you decided you would show up a little bit more for yourself, and then you kind of stopped posting, or you kind of lost the energy, or again, back to the idea of a gym, you kind of lost that idea. And then by the time you get back on it in April, in May, the followers you had gone by the wayside. The algorithm no longer recognizes you, doesn't even understand what you're about. The muscles you built in the little gym you did in January, they've all now gone flaccid. You're back to square one. The secret is in the consistency. Similarly, is even the starting point. Many people wait for the perfect time, the, the utmost resources, or clarity in what they want to do before they get started. And this is how years pass by. There are people who know half as much as you do, who have half the readiness that you have, and they are starting what you want to do today, and they are doing well at it. They are using their small phone, they are sitting in their backyard with the clothesline on the back and the unpainted wall, and they're going live. But you're here, you're talking on ChatGPT, you're asking all the questions, you're talking to all your friends, you want to make sure it's perfect, you're writing and rewriting your scripts. Just get started. The magic happens when you start where you are with what you have and you stay consistent. Secondly, momentum builds confidence, and that confidence attracts opportunity. When you get started and you have momentum, like, oh my gosh, I just lost 2 pounds. Oh my gosh, I just lost 1 kilo. Oh my gosh, I just lost 2 kilos. Oh my gosh, that dress from 3 years ago, it now fits me and I don't have to be struggling and sweating to put it on. Then you get motivated to do more. You're building momentum. You're getting started. You are getting better. You are lifting heavier weights in the gym. You could barely lift 5 kilos. Now you're up to 7. Now you can put another ring on the weight. Now you're willing to try things. You used to hide out in the back of the gym. Now you're talking to the gym bros and they're giving you ideas as to how to lift more efficiently, more effectively. You start building confidence. You start knowing more about the subject matter. You start understanding how to do it, when to do it, if to do it. You even find yourself mentoring, right? You now find someone who's come to the gym. Bear in mind, you're not yet a gym bro, you're still on your 10 kilos or on your 15 kilos, but suddenly you see someone doing 5 kilos and you remember being this person. You remember being here. And you are like, bro, that's not how to do it. See, guy, if you want to do it, This is what you need to do. This is how you make this work for you. So once you have that confidence, it starts to attract opportunities. You start seeing people who want to talk to you because maybe you relate a bit more with people who don't know how to do a certain thing or how to lead in a certain position. In your workplace, you are now like, oh, okay, I've done this course, so I can speak up a little bit more in meetings. When you speak up more in meetings, the manager notices you, and then the manager is like, ah, Mercy, what did you think of this meeting that we had yesterday? What are your thoughts? People now actually want to hear your voice. They want to hear your opinions. You're adding value and you can speak confidently because you know what you're talking about, because you've actually taken the course. So once you get started, you get momentum. Once you have momentum, that gives you confidence. Once you have confidence, it starts giving you opportunities, opening opportunities for you. You are not doing massive, you're not yet, you're not a CEO, you're not in the C-suite, you're not the owner of the company, but suddenly those small steps have started compounding over time. You are now nowhere near where you are, and you don't even remember how you got there, what you did any differently. It was just consistency. You kept showing up and your confidence started growing. So if you're an emerging professional, think about it this way: send that email that you've been afraid to send, that you've been procrastinating over for the last 2 weeks. Send it. It's a little thing. Send it, close the laptop. Start sharing your insights on LinkedIn. Start being visible for people who are in the stage you can teach from. So if you find yourself in year 3, start talking to year 1 students, because you might not yet be a professional, but you definitely know a lot more than what they do. Volunteer for a project, do something differently. If you're an entrepreneur and you're doing a business, don't wait until you get the massive funding that you're looking for or the massive capital. Test your idea with 10 customers. Make 10 bottles of Zobo instead of the 2,000 that you wanted to make to start with. Don't wait for funding, validate first. Is my recipe even any good? Do people want to have more of my banana cake? If I start doing laundry service, is there a demand? Is there a need in this community? Let me talk to 5 families on my street and ask them, if I'm able to wash your clothes and bring it back to you for 2K, will you pay me for the freedom, for the convenience? Try the 1% rule. Improve by just 1% every week. Do a little bit more, then do a little bit more. Over a year, you're going to start seeing massive growth. So next, we're going to talk about growth. Flexibility fuels growth. Once you're able to adapt, to weave and bend and buck and face the new challenges in front of you, and then sit back, think about how you're going to take this on and do something differently, you start to grow. So flexibility is not a weakness. It's actually a growth skill. If you are rigid and you're like, nope, this is how XYZ did it, and this is the only way it can be done, and I'm not going to entertain any other way to do this. I must do it the way I thought about it. I must do it the way this person thought about it. It will give you challenges. You have to rethink what you're doing. Okay, I always used to bring my products in from China, or I always used to bring my products in from the States or whatever, but that was when Naira was 250 Naira to a dollar. Now it's close to 1,500 Naira to a dollar. This is no longer tenable. This is no longer sustainable. What can I do differently? Is there a way I can source the same products here in Nigeria? If I can't source the products here in Nigeria, if I still have to get the products from abroad, can I rebrand my products so it's a high-end product? because people are no longer going to be able to buy my products the price it used to be. I can't afford to sell my products the price it used to be. So I need to now market the same product to a higher end consumer. That means I have to change everything about my business if I'm going to continue importing from abroad. I'm going to have to change the narrative around the business. I'm going to have to change the marketing. So maybe before, where I just used to put it in a pure water sachet, now it has to be in a beautiful bottle, maybe like in a glass bottle as opposed to a PET bottle, for example. I'm going to have to change the label around it. I'm going to have to change the kinds of places where you can even find my products. I'm going to do this because I'm importing the goods I'm using to make the product. I'm going to have to market to communities in Lekki, to people in Ikoyi. I'm going to have to market to up market places in Ibadan. I can't be in the market again by the side of the railway because one small thing changed in the way I do business. The forex is simply not forexing any longer. Naira and dollar, they are not liking themselves at the moment. So you still have an end goal, which is I need to sell products. The end goal, the question now is, do you change your supplier? Do you change the products as a whole and say, I want to get out of any business that requires me to import my raw materials? So do you change what you're offering? Do you change your consumer base? Okay, I'm going to keep importing. I'm going to keep importing from China. I just need to find a different set of people who are going to buy this. So I need to find upmarket, high scale people that are going to buy this. Or do you say, okay, let me partner with someone who is already doing this and see if I can bring them customers. So let them have the overheads. Let them worry about what Naira is saying and what dollar is saying and all of that. My job will just be to bring them customers and they will give me a commission for every customer I bring. That is the flexibility that you need to start putting into your business, that you need to start putting into your um uh either business, either career, professional. So let's look at it from a professional perspective where you have to go into an office. They've sacked you, or your boss has moved on. The person who liked you, the person who knew what you're capable of, the person who knows your skill strengths and whatnot, and there's a new sheriff in town. And this person, maybe it's not that they don't like you, just that they don't know you. So you can't keep doing business the way that you were doing business. You can't keep going through the office and ignoring the fact that this person doesn't, and then getting angry if they're not recommending you for certain roles, or they're not, because they don't know you. So your job is to figure out, do I want to stay working under this new manager? And if I do, how do I change the status quo? How do I make sure she or he gets to know me? How do I show up and be more visible at work? What kinds of work or what kinds of projects can I put in front of this new person so that they will know that I'm capable? Or do I move to a new department? Do I say, "Ah, look, I guess I'm better with the people in accounting anyway. Let me see if there's positions or vacancy in accounting that I can apply for and I can move sideways." Or do you want to go and start in a whole new company because you're thinking to yourself, this new management structure is a sign of the times. They've been steadily changing management to a more toxic environment. They keep bringing in new people who don't really care about the workforce here anyway. And maybe it's time to jump ship. The fact remains, flexibility is not just a growth skill, sometimes it's a survival skill. It's the things you need to do to not just stay in business or stay at your workplace, but to actually thrive in that environment. The other thing you need to remember to do is to stay open to pivots. So we're still going to the same destination, we just have a redirection. We have to be doing things a little bit differently. So when the market shifts, you have to listen. You have to pivot early. You have to start adapting your offering. You have to start realizing instead of putting your head in the sand, there were people when the motor car came around, and there were people who believed, the people who made chariots did not believe that the world would change. Nobody's going to put their lives in the hands of an automated vehicle that can't that can't be controlled. I know horses. I can tell the horse, whoa, stop, and I can pull the reins and the horse will stop. Nobody's ever going to believe this car thing. It'll never take off. If they didn't pivot their business at the time to start saying, we better start working out how we can also start creating cars, they were going to go obsolete, defunct, and bankrupt within a very few short years. Just yesterday, a friend of mine called me on video call because she was in a driverless cab for the first time in the States. I'd never seen it. And of course, I'd heard about it, but I didn't realize that they were literally on the roads, and you can now take driverless taxis in certain areas in the United States. And I was instantly pleading the blood of Jesus on her behalf. Like, why are you in a car that doesn't have a driver? Why are you tired of life? What's going to happen if someone just shunts in front of that car at like high speed or something? There's no human controlling this vehicle. That's me holding on to what I've always believed. If I turn to my right, I expect to see a driver in the window in the car next to me. If I turn to my left, there better be someone in the driving seat. And I'm just like, I can't imagine putting my life in the car that has no driver. But maybe that's the future. And if I'm Hyundai, if I'm BMW, if I'm Audi, if I'm whoever I need to be, I need to start thinking, is this something that we need to put our L&D team on? Because if you get left behind, you become obsolete, you go defunct. So even though you may not own a car company, we're going to have to start thinking about a pivot test every 3 to 6 months. First of all, am I still on the right track? Are the goals I thought I had at the start of this year still the goals that I wanted? I remember a few years ago, one of my goals was to get verified across all social media channels, right? I wanted that coveted blue tick. I wanted it on Twitter. I wanted it on Facebook. I wanted it on all social media channels. And then Elon came along and said, oh, you can just buy the blue tick. And so everybody and their auntie now has a blue tick on Twitter, or sorry, X. Suddenly, I'm not interested in a blue tick because what it used to convey for me used to be credibility, certifiability, validation. You are an expert in your field and you are recognized as such. If it's just going to cost me whatever it costs to get one, I don't want it. So the first thing is, first of all, are my goals still my goal? If that is the case, am I on the right track? What's working? What's not working? What can I adjust? What can I abandon? What can I defer? Is there a new course to do this? The things I had to do the long way around, I can now just plug it into ChatGPT and get my answer. Do I need to change the way I do business or change the way that I write or change the way that I talk to clients because I still have the same goal or the same dream? There's now an easier way to do it. So you have to have this test internally, externally, on a piece of paper, whatever you want to do, but you have to do this every 3 to 6 months just to make sure that what you are getting is what you said you wanted. If you're still in the room with me, I can't see the chat for now, but please say yes or give me a thumbs up and let me know that we are on the same course. Next, we're going to talk about little things that turn into big wins. Let's go back to consistency. We talked about this earlier on. We talked about going to the gym. We talked about eating salad for one day. We talked about showing up at work. And by showing up, I don't mean like literally coming into work. I mean doing a project that matters or that brings visibility. And the simple truth is that consistency compounds. It's not a simple interest, it's a compound interest. You keep doing it, and one day the weight just drops off. And one day your 10 minutes at the gym can turn to 30 minutes without you dying and needing an inhaler or whatever it is that you need. The small things add up. They become daily habits. They become things you can't do without. They become things you feel funny if you don't do them. So when we'd say, oh, this person just got lucky. Oh, this person didn't get lucky. They kept preparing. They kept preparing. They kept doing it. They kept doing it, and they got noticed. There are comedians who are playing in very small venues. There are musicians who are doing karaoke, but they do it consistently. Don Jazzy said something similar about Ira Star, and he just went down her social media and found out this girl has been singing. This girl has been singing. She's singing in her backyard. She's singing in her garden. She's singing at her friend's party. She's singing at somebody's wedding. But she has been singing. Just keep repeating what you're doing, and the consistency will compound. You just get better and better. And one day it looks like a big win, and people don't even realize how many hours, days, weeks, or months you put into this thing. The second thing is to show up with excellence, even on small stages. And I think this is really important to discuss because as Nigerians, we do kind of have a play to the audience mentality. And it's you're a carpenter and you say, maybe it's for a primary school, and you are not sanding down the edges of a chair, or you are not putting a final coat of lacquer around something. They ask you to do something and you're saying, it's just for 3 or 4 people. Who will even see it? And you do a shoddy job and you do a half job. But if you see a minister, you are bending and standing up like an agama lizard. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Well done, sir. Make it a point of duty to show up with excellence, no matter what you are being asked to do, because that then becomes your standard, because that then becomes what you are known for, because somebody will see a chair in a primary school and say, who made this chair? Because I'm building a multi-story office and I'm going to need some furniture. Get used to speaking with excellence. And if you're called to speak at an event, you should bring the same energy to a small event as you would to a TED Talk. Write as though you are writing something that Obama is going to have to read out at a general assembly. Show up with excellence in everything that you're doing. You should have things that upset you about your output. This thing has my name on it. I'm not putting it out in anything less than perfection, as far as my budget will allow, as far as my environment will allow. I know I don't have the best booker. I know I don't have, but it will be clean. Please, let's do this place. Let it be tidy. Let's put things away and let it look a certain type of way. You should attach excellence to your name, to your brand, to your offering, to your service, to your invitation, to everything you are called to do. You should do it excellently every time, because it is where you are that grace will meet you. You never know who is watching, so you have to show up excellently every time. And then the final thing is the quiet seasons, when you think, oh my gosh, things are happening for everybody else. Everybody else is excelling. This one is putting up there. Oh, what is the LinkedIn? LinkedIn will say, I'm so thrilled to announce. I'm humbled and honored to, and everybody's announcing and everybody's doing this or that. Use your quiet seasons to prepare. Use your quiet season to get better. Use your quiet season to grow. Because when they say fortune favors the prepared, it means you need to be ready when fortune comes. So when it seems like nothing is happening for you right now, that is the time that you take to knuckle down. Because actually, you don't want people to see the grits behind the glory, right? You don't want people to see the tears and the whatever before the triumph. When they come, let them see an excellent person, an excellent product, an excellent service that has been created from months of preparedness. Those are the little things that you can do. Just repeat, be excellent, and be prepared. And these things come together and give you big wins. So that the day someone even comes and says, I want to make you the head of blah 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 blah, you should be able to in your mind say, I can do this. I prepared for this. I've been waiting for a day like this. And finally, let's talk about when, not finally, but let's talk about when things go wrong. When you don't get the job interview, when you lose the business, when you don't get the contracts, when somebody promised you something and they don't come through, because it's all well and good me saying be prepared, be consistent, but we all know life is not um, a fairy tale. So, what do we do when things go wrong? The first thing to note is that failure isn't final, it's feedback. You need to find out, what did I do wrong? Why didn't they pick me? What could I have done better? How do I reframe this in a way that if this comes about again, I will be ready? I had a friend who was already had a PhD in an academic setting, and she was going for wanted to be a professor. And one of the things she had to do as a professor was to face the professors at the university and give some sort of dissertation, almost like a pitch as to why she should be chosen as a professor. So she called me very, very upset after it because she thought she would go in as doctor and come out as prof. And she said they didn't give it to her. And she talked about all of the things that she'd done. I've written so many books. I've covered. I'm one of the most sought after speakers in this field. I've co-authored. I've been a part of this, that, and the other research. I'm a leader in this field. I can't believe they wouldn't pick me. I can't believe they wouldn't pick me. I can't believe they wouldn't pick me. And I'm like, well, what did they say? Isn't that they just didn't, they just said, oh, I don't like your face and come and be going. She's like, I don't mind them, Jerry, that they said that I'm not doing enough community work within the school. So the school expected that you will do things that show some sort of familial things within the school. So I was like, oh, fantastic. So they told you what the problem was. I said, please, it's politics. They already know who they want to. I was like, okay, the thing that they said you don't do you do them? She said, oh no, Jerry, who has time for that? Oh, really? So you don't do them. They've told you these are the things that need to be done, but you're still convinced they're not being frank with you or they're not being. So I said, why don't you do it? Because you do your bare minimum as a lecturer in that school. You do your courses, that's all. They're calling opening day and an opportunity to meet the parents and take the parents around the school. You're nowhere to be found. They're talking about head of department. You are nowhere. You never put your name in the hat. They're talking about, oh, what are some of the departmental days or events or things that we can do to raise the profile of this department or of this school? You are nowhere to be found. You literally give lectures, you grade lectures, leave. So I started having that conversation with her, and it wasn't easy. And by the way, yes, take a moment to be knocked back. Cry over the setback. You've put your heart into it. You really thought this was going to work for you. You really thought this was going to be it. And then they knocked you back. I'm not saying just be some sort of unfeeling, uncaring. Take a moment to dwell in the sadness. I really wanted this. God knows I really wanted it. Take that moment, but then bend. Start doing the things. Start doing it differently. And she did all of that. And time passed and we lost touch because I was no longer living in the same place where she was. And she called me back about 3 years later. And she said, "You're the second person I've called with this news. The first person was my mum. You're the second person I've called to say I'm now a professor." I put all of that into the way that I show up at school. And my interview with the panel wasn't even up to 15 minutes. They started talking about all of the great things I'm doing in the school, all of the great things I'm doing with the parents, all of the great things I'm doing to raise the profile, and they are very delighted to give me this professorship. The reason I'm raising this as an example is because there's an opposite example that I know about. And there was someone who works in a very technical role in an IT company, and the person was looking for a promotion. After you spent about 5 years doing the same thing, you wanted to go up to the next stage and earn more money. And they thought the natural promotion, the natural step up was to become a manager. And so they spoke to their line manager. The line manager started telling them all of the things that they needed to do and gave them some direct reports. Okay, these people will now be reporting to you. After 6 months of having to manage people, it was very clear to him that he did not want to be a manager at all. Was happy to be in the background doing his technical role. And then, okay, maybe what I need to do is apply for a technical role at a company that pays more. But going up in a promotion, so back to what are your dreams? What are you trying to do? And is the path that you think you're taking actually the right path? Because yes, they may have earned 33% more as a manager, but he doesn't like people. Is it by like I don't want to manage people. So now you have to think about, by the time you see the path that's going to take you to your supposed dream, is it a path you want to take? So imagine now if you're an entrepreneur and a product flopped, you thought it was going to be the product that was going to change, but the public didn't like it. Think about Coca-Cola. I'm going to age myself a little bit. We've seen Coke Solo. We've seen what flavors came out? Grape Coke. We've seen all kinds of. They have so many products that don't work. What you've learned is the public does not like this. They don't want this. This thing that works in your head because you're thinking, oh, if they like this flavor, then they must like this flavor. Okay, they don't like it. So what have you learned? What you've learned is don't go and make 100 million bottles of a tester flavor. Roll it out in a small part of the country. Make it available in just Ibadan. Make it available in just Ekiti. Make it available in just Lagos and see what people think. If they love it, absolutely. Step up production, step up marketing, step up and roll it out across the country. Oh, this product, we didn't even know we had a great product until we translated it into Hausa. We didn't realize that the people didn't even know what the product was. Oh, nice one. That's a learning curve. Make it available in the East and have some adverts in Igbo. It might not even be the failure that you think it is. It might just need to be what? Adapted, to be bent, to be reshaped, to be turned into something else. It might work in a different environment. There's franchises and brands that go across different countries and show up differently. I guarantee you there is no jollof rice in the KFC in the UK. So learn from your feedback. Put out a poll, put out a questionnaire, ask people. I know I tried to do your laundry for you on your street. Why? What didn't you like about it? Oh, you didn't feel like the clothes came back clean. Oh, you didn't feel. Oh, you when you thought about the money, you thought you were better off doing the laundry yourself. Oh, so it's a price points issue. Oh, okay, it's a customer service issue. How do you do things differently and still get to your goal? What you need to remember is every channel, every challenge carries a hidden opportunity. Just as long as you think, what is this teaching me? What is the hidden opportunity here? How can I make this better? Or how can this make me better and get me prepared for the next time? Give yourself time to feel bad. Nobody's saying that if you spend whatever on a new product and the product doesn't take, of course you have to now sell it at cost or get rid of it or burn it or throw it away. But what have you learned and what can you do differently? Which takes us to the next step, which is the flexibility formula. Number one is awareness. What's really happening? What has failed? Because it might not be what you think. So like my professor friend, what she thought was, it's just politics. They just don't like me. They already have an idea in their mind who they want to promote, and that wasn't the case. So, are you even aware of what is actually happening? The second one is acceptance. I keep saying this. Resilience is not the same as Voltron. It doesn't mean, oh, I didn't feel it. I don't care. I don't mind. Allow the discomfort. Understand that, wow, I really thought this was it and it didn't work. Feel all the feelings and then make the adjustment. Show up for school day. Put your name in the ring, in the hat for HOD. Change the recipe of your akara or of your zobo or whatever you are doing. Listen to what the feedback says and adjust accordingly. And most importantly, stay in motion, even if it is slow motion. Do a little bit. Send the email. Get back the feedback. Maybe tomorrow it's talk to the graphic designer and change the label you were putting on the products. Maybe after that, it's finding somebody as an accountability partner and saying to the person, I feel bad today. In fact, I felt bad this whole month. In fact, I put my whole heart in this and I really thought this would be it. I need you to check in on me in 2 weeks. Make sure I have done this. Make sure I've done that. Make sure I make this move. Make sure I contact this vendor. Make sure I do, even if that's all you do. Because life and work will test you. Your ability is to bend and just keep going. Adapt, rest, accept, adjust, and continue. Breaking is to just give up and shut down. And the most successful people aren't necessarily the strongest. They're not the people that have never had setbacks or disappointments. They're the people who just show up the next day. Just show up the next day and try again. Finally, I'd like to leave you with a thought, which is one of my favorite quotes. It's by Yakko Stridham, and it says, "We make the choice, and then the choice makes us." We make the choice, and then the choice makes us. It shapes us. It determines who we become. It helps us grow into that person because we made a choice. Thank you, everyone. I really enjoyed doing this session. I will, if the techie people can help me, I'm going to stop sharing and we'll come back into the room.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. This was really enlightening, from the one thing that you said, great people are not necessarily the strongest. They are the ones that keep showing up. As in, that really touched me. Like, was like the icing on top of the cake with all of the things that we've heard so far. And if you're with us, I want you to please, drop your emojis, love emojis in the comments. Let's appreciate our speaker for this wonderful, wonderful delivery. I've that life and work will test me. I need to bend. Breaking means that I'm giving up. So I'm not planning to break right now. So let's just send our emojis, let's send our love, let's send our, as much as we can. I'm sure that we all learned and gained something. I can see comments flowing and flowing and flowing. And it shows that we have people, with us that are listening to us and learning from this. And this is the opportunity to ask your questions. Please, the chat room is open. Just type in your questions. We are glad to take them. Type in your questions. We're glad to take them. Please type in your questions. I know also because we're streaming live, the from the studio to the live is like some few seconds. So I know that we need to, you know, wait and flow with what is happening. I can see the emojis coming in now. And please, let's type in our questions. While we wait for all questions to come, there was one thing that you said at the early stage of the lecture, something about around don't wait for funding first, seek to validate your product. So my question, or thinking for some people who are maybe startups or young ones, who wants to start something and they require funding, as in what the product they even need to validate requires some funding. How should we how do we help these ones? Because if they are not seeking for funding and they need to make some products that needs to be validated before they launch, how do we manage that part? I don't know if you can just help and enlighten us. Thank you.
That's actually a very fantastic and unfortunate question because seeking funding is a catch 22. Think about it this way. So let me start by saying, think about it from the funder's perspective. You want me to give you money for something that you just have an idea that it will work. You have a belief that it would work. You've not tried it, you've not validated it, you've not confirmed it, you've not done even the most rudimentary test on this thing. But you want me to give you 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, 20 million on, trust me, Rachel, it will work. You can see how that is a problem from a funder's perspective. So for those people um, who are starting something that needs work, I would strongly recommend raise the funds to do the test in house.
Okay.
Talk to your parents, talk to your peers, talk to your friends, do some crowdfunding. There's something in business that we call POC, the proof of concept. Give me the proof that your concept work. Show me the thing. Oh, so when we pour the ingredients here, the liquid will come down here. And this is so all my money will do is to tush up this thing, but you have shown me the rudimentary proof of concept. Yes, you used an old Fanta bottle. Yes, when we go into production, it will be a new bottle with our branding on. Yes, we can beautify it. But I need to see a proof of concept because you cannot go to anybody in Tinubu's 2025 and ask them for 10 million, 20 million, whatever it is that you think you're looking on, based on, trust me, bro, it'll be cool. That won't fly.
Mm.
So you have to raise your funds in-house. You are creating a marinade that is the best tasting marinade in the world. And if you use it, your chicken will taste brilliant. Your fish, everybody loves your. Do it in your kitchen and bottle it. Show
Mm.
me a proof of concept. Let me taste the marinade myself and see how brilliant this marinade is. Show me 10 people who have tasted your akara and love it. And they're now saying they are happy to trek 2 kilometers to your shop to buy that akara.
Mm.
You have to do it. All this money is supposed to do for anybody looking for funding, all anybody's money is supposed to do is beautify the products, standardize the products, market the products.
Mm. Okay.
By the time people use your products, you will even start seeing new problems with your products. They'll say, this thing is nice, but it would have been better if you sieved all the orange thing is in my mouth. And that's something that if you had not found that out, that's one of the first things the funder is going to say to you, like, okay, so what is your processing plant process look like? And you don't know because you've never even tested it. So it's very important that you have a prototype. Thank you so much. I can see comments. Yes, it's you can have a prototype before ever seeking funding, seeking help. Make sure that your product or your service is validated. Make sure you have feedback from people before ever taking it ever in front of an investor, in front of a business venture capitalist or a business angel, because you will embarrass yourself. Trust me.
Mm.
One or two questions they will ask you, you yourself, you'll see that you're not ready.
Mm. Okay.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very, all right. Thank you very much. I think people are still trying to take in the lecture, and the questions are not coming out so much. But let me ask this also on behalf of maybe somebody out there who will still watch, or who is currently watching with us, or who will watch later. Um, no, I've been trying to be consistent, like I have been trying. I have been, as in, I have been consistent, but I haven't seen any result yet. And I don't know if I should give up. I know I'm not supposed to give up, but how long should I keep trying? Because I have been trying.
Trying what?
Trying to be consistent to do the little I need to do every day based on the things I've heard. I've heard many things about consistency, consistency. So I've been doing it, but I've not hit the mark. I've not been discovered. I've not, and
So
then I don't
so
know how
the
long.
consistency differs in the timelines differ based on what you're trying to be consistent about.
Okay.
So how long you should be consistent for before you give up depends on what it is you're trying to do. How long should I be consistent with lifting weights before I give up is different from how long should I be consistent in posting on social media before I give up. It's two different timelines. Because weight, I actually expect to be seeing some muscle that there's literally guidelines that if you're doing this for
Mm-hmm.
30 a day, every day, you should start seeing muscle definition by this time. That is one timeline. Social media, if you're posting a certain kind of thing by a certain time, you should start seeing results by this time. Is a completely different timeline. It depends on what you're doing, the external factors involved. So, say for example, I wanted to do, you know what? Let me not go far. Let me talk about what I do. I do thought leadership, mentorship. I do tech. I do that's those are the kinds of things I talk about on social media. You have to understand the niche that you are in. Because, for example, the niche that sells on social media, I don't want to use the word sells or will get you big followership very quickly, is controversy,
Mm-hmm.
politics,
Yeah, true.
um, scandal.
Mm-hmm.
So even on the social media, the how long differs based on the niche that you're in.
Mm.
I am not ready to be running around the street and be doing prank because I want to be popular on social media. I'm not ready to take off my clothes because I want to be popular. I know how to be popular on social. If I want to grow my followership today, I know what to do. So the how long depends on even understanding the niche that you're in. What is growth in this niche I'm in? My sister sells a skincare business and she creates her own products and she's phenomenally good at what she does. But she came to a crossroads about 4 years ago and she came to me and she says, I've been fighting with something and I don't really know what to do. All of my customers are telling me they want skin bleaching
Mm.
cream. They're calling it different names. They're saying, oh, just something that tone. Oh, just something that balance the complexion. Also, but I know where they're going. They want
Mm-hmm.
something that will lighten the skin. And I don't want to do it. It goes against everything I know from cosmetology. It goes against everything that is in my values. But once they ask me and I tell them, no, this product, they say, Ma, does this product have glutathione? Ma, does this product have blah, 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 blah? And once I tell them no, they say, okay, thank you, Ma, no problem, we'll come and buy. And I don't ever hear from them again.
Mm.
So I'm tempted to start offering a very small range of products that does bleach. But will it be okay if I do it if I just add the warnings that warning, this thing can cause skin melanoma, this thing can cause like if I put the adequate warning on the products, do you think I should do it? Because it's clear that that is what they want. And I said, and how will you sleep at night?
Mm.
It's easy to fall into the trap of doing the things that give you a quick win so that I don't want to give up, but this thing is not working. I don't want to give up, but this consistency is not working. I don't want to give up, but should I just post something? Or maybe the next time I go live, I'm going to wear a top that's a little bit lower down, or I'm going to wear. And then how do you sleep at night? So instead, your job, as difficult as it is to think about what do I need to do or what do I need to change? I can see the question, thank you. What do I need
Mm.
to change in the way that I do business, in the way that I do business and still stick within my value set? So am I putting the right hashtags when I go live? am I saying the right, am I even, who is even my target audience? Am I just putting out content, or am I talking to the right people? What solution am I providing? What pain points am I talking to? You need to, first of all, find out what the breaking point is for your particular industry. Because if you are not talking about, sorry to lower the tone in the room, but if you're not talking about big bomb bomb, or you're not talking about, religion or scandal or controversy or trending news, please understand that your growth is going to be slow. Please understand that your followership is going to be small. If you now understand that, go and look at some of the people you consider leaders in your field. Because as if you want to stay in your field, you want to stay talking about the kinds of things you're currently talking about, in which case, those people I admire, how many followers do they have? When did they start? What kind of content do they post? How often do they post? What are some of the hashtags that they use? Who are they talking to? Who are some of the people that respond and put comments under their video time they post? What are some of the things that they're doing that I have not yet started doing? How do I start doing the things that they're doing? How do I make my voice more known in my field? And I can't be comparing myself to somebody looking for fast growth in somebody that is discussing the day they're not discussing Eula Doce, they're discussing I don't know who's out there now, Regina Daniels. Or, we're not selling the same product. We're simply not selling the same product. I hope that answered your question. I hope that helps. I'm going to read out Progress's question, or do you want to read it out?
Okay. She said, I really appreciate this lecture as delivered by our articulate facilitator. Thank you so much for the great delivery. My question is it compulsory to have a verified social media account to promote one's product on social media?
Absolutely not. It's the short
Yeah, I
answer.
agree too. Yeah.
Absolutely not. What is necessary is consistency.
Yeah.
And people don't understand how important this thing is. And I came into consistency very late, which is why I talk about it a lot. I found out that I cover a lot of topics and people don't know what I do for a living. Like, you think you are talking, but are you actually hitting the right mark? Are you saying the things that matter? People ask, like, honestly, Rachel, how do you make your money? Like, what do you actually do? So it's important that your product is clear. It's important that you are consistent about marketing your product. It's important that you constantly talk about your product in a way. There's somebody that I follow on and this is someone that um, uh, Mercy, and she's on it. She's like, "Is this Akara? It is this. I'm back again to talk about this Akara. It's not left. It's not right. It's not. Oh, maybe it's this Akara." So at some point, it's not just talking about the product, it's talking consistently about the product. It's becoming unanimous with your product. It's becoming, when they see you, they even the day you choose to talk about, oh my gosh, there's this wedding I went to last weekend. It was a lovely wedding. I wore green and I wore red shoe. By the way, back to this Akara. That you must keep talking about it and about it and about it, that even if people don't remember you, you see, I'm sure you guys have seen on social media where someone will say, this, what's the name of that lady that sells akara? Like, at some point they don't even remember you, but they know what you do, they know what you're about. So you have to be consistent, and that's what you need. It doesn't have to be verified. Thank you so very much.
All right, thank you. I think at this point we may need to start wrapping up. We are so grateful for this opportunity, and the beautiful part of it is we can also come back to listen and watch this again because it's going to be on the YouTube. For those that are online, I will like to kindly ask that you subscribe to this channel. Just click subscribe so that you can have access to this video and some other videos that may come up, later on. I'm also glad to also mention to you that Rachel Onomusi is one of our facilitators at Anike Lyons. So she will be coming back again. And even all of the speakers we've had for the masterclass, they are all our facilitators, and I can bet that you enjoyed every bit of the September, October, and November masterclasses. And I know that Rachel had added her social media account to our slides. You can just scroll back to check it so that you can follow her for more. She's very, very deep. I can see that she's very, very, there's so many things you will learn from her. And I want to say a big thank you to you for saying yes to this and for, talking to us and for preparing for this masterclass. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. So to everyone, please kindly help me say thank you in the comment section. Just type thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to see all of the thank yous as we wrap up this evening. Yeah, thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great night, everyone, or
Thank
good
you.
morning, or good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. Yes, I'm getting the thank you. The thank yous are already coming in. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye.
Bye.